Well, it's a long way from Star, Mississippi, to the big stage I'm singing on tonight. And sometimes the butterflies still get me.
Eric Williams. I grew up around the Grand Island area. Grew up on a farm. We raised cattle, sheep, goats, did crops. Professionally, I worked for the Nebraska Brand Committee for a year and a half almost, and now I'm banking. I'm a personal banker.
Tanya Gadigan. I was born and raised around Cook, Nebraska, and we raised cattle and we did crops. I showed in the county fairs, and now I am a social worker.
Helen Hupke, and I was a farm wife since, oh goodness, from 1946 to, well, 1992 we moved into town, but then we still had farm connections.
My name is Kelly, I'm 21. I currently work for Farmers Cooperative as their office clerk and grain scale, operate the scale. I've worked there the last year. Before that, I worked at Beatrice 77 Livestock at their sale barn for 2.5 years and being an office clerk up in the office.
My name is Randy Hupke. I farm in southeast Nebraska. I raise corn, beans, alfalfa, cattle. Been farming basically all my life.
Several times that men didn't want to have me help them at work at the co-op because I'm a lady. They believe I don't know anything about the grain, about the markets, and always ask to talk to one of the guys. They see us as we don't know anything, so they'd rather talk to one of the guys thinking they know all the knowledge about it.
Because it's how they grew up, and yeah, the male looks like the woman couldn't succeed because of how they grew up, how they were portrayed, just by the amount, like in the workplace, if there's more men in that position, then it could get rubbed off that, okay, so they couldn't do as good of a job, so that's why.
It's a stereotype which makes women have to work harder to get the improvement or the success that a male could do lesser at to get the same exact improvement or success.
Years ago, women were the staple of the farm. You know, they were expected to stay home, raise a family, but they also had to go out and do chores like milk cows, gather eggs, raise a garden, can and whatever, which to supply the family through the winter. Today, there's lots of women in agriculture, let it be grain, livestock, seed production, managers, consultants, you name it, there's endless list. In the future, the world's open for them if they want to dive in and learn and be good stewards of the land and animals.
But in my soul, I know that I'm the same way that I've really always. 'Cause a Mississippi girl don't change her ways just 'cause everybody knows her name. Ain't big-headed.
I believe we should change the way women are looked upon in agriculture because us women can do just about anything that guys can do. Just because we're labeled as a woman and not men, we can still do everything. We all get an education, the same education that the men do. The teachers don't treat us different and don't treat the men different. We all do it together. So I believe that we should still have an opportunity and be considered when it comes to job finding just because we are women.
I can see that. I can see the stereotypes, males thinking it's a male's job, but if you think about it, growing up, I helped my dad on the farm all the time. That's what I knew. So I think that's just a stereotype. It shouldn't be there. Women do just as much on the farm as males. So
I think it depends on the area you're in. Some, like mom has always helped on the farm, done the same thing that dad has, the whole 9 yards. In some areas, when guys see mom in her irrigating boots out with the pipe irrigating, they turn their heads and look. And in other areas, it's an everyday occurrence. So I think it really just depends on the geographical area that you're in and how they were raised and how they were brought up.
My job was to fill in. I never did have to milk, but when I was a child I had to milk, and then you had to feed the hogs and feed the cattle and feed the sheep and things like that when my dad was out in the field. And when my husband was in the field, you help do chores so he could work later. I think our country as a whole has to be more accepting of women helping on the farm. Everybody wants to go to town and to the cities and work. They draw a paycheck, but then they don't want to be associated with farm. But it is a good place to raise a family, and a lot of the places I understand that if the young people apply for work, and then they know who they're applying to, if they know that they've been raised on a farm, they know how to work.
Getting young children, both male and female, boys and girls, some type of animal, whether it be a pet, have them care for it, or whether take care of flowers in the house or a little garden, so they get used to it, and something while they grow up and do more, learn more, maybe they'll be more interested. And like back to the man and woman issue, the boys will see the girls can do just as much. And a good place to start there is 4-H, FFA, groups like that.
That I've really always been. 'Cause a Mississippi girl don't change her ways just 'cause everybody knows her name.
make everything general neutral. I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be a big change. It's going to take a while to change. But I think they just need to realize women can do the same amount of work as the male equivalent and come out with the same results.
I agree with you, but it needs to start at a lower level. It needs to start within the, I think in elementary. Start in elementary and teach them that way, so then it changes as they grow.
Probably because of the men's pride. They don't want to admit that women could do just as well. There's a lot of things women can't do, but then a lot of things that women can. They can drive the combine and the tractors. When it comes to repairing, it would be different. They could go after repairs, but then few of them, I suppose, could go ahead and put the repairs where they're needed, but not everybody.
I feel that men don't respect us women in agriculture because they doubt us. They don't give us a chance to prove that we can do things just like them. They see us as we are housewives and shouldn't be in their field. Just because the men have grown up doing all the outside work doesn't mean us women can't do it.
Just 'cause everybody knows her name ain't big-headed from a little bit of fame.
The opinion man versus woman in ag, that's a tough one. A lot of men, they're even though they're modernized, they say, they still perceive them as women. Men need to open their eyes and their ears and listen, because a lot of times women's opinions in any ag-related type business, you know, is the same as another man's, except some men don't like hearing it from women. And some women have to stand up and just tell them this is what it is, how it is, and what maybe it should be, and this is what it could be in the future. Put their foot down a little more.
'Cause a Mississippi girl don't change her ways just 'cause everybody knows